Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back one and all to part 8 of our 30 band Royal Rumble extravaganza, where, ladies and gentlemen, part 8, our 8th entry is on his way. So you know what? Do we want to waste any more time, or do we want to get straight down to business? I thought so. Not entirely sure who I'm talking to, but I think we got a good idea. So, if all of you guys and girls are ready at home, we can get started with entry number 8 on his way in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and...
And the news media plus a lot more.
It is very relevant in America today.
Lemon yellow sun, arms raised in a beam, and the dead lay in pools of maroon below. And Daddy didn't give attention, oh, to the fact that Mommy didn't care. King Jeremy the wicked, oh, ruled his world. Jeremy a harmless little fuck. But we unleashed the lion, gnashed his teeth and bit the recessed lady's breast. How could I forget? And he hit me with a surprise left. My jaw left hurting, ooh, dropped wide open, just like the day, oh, like the day I heard.
wow. It ended with that kid. Well, I'm calling him a child because, well, it would seem unfair if it was anything else, because it ended with that kid literally blowing his brains out. Jesus. Shit. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that was Jeremy by Pearl Jam. I'm gonna go out on a limb and already say that if this was not based on something that happened within the likes of Vader or Chris Cornell, I wouldn't believe it. I reckon this is the type of thing you don't just come out with. Well, I suppose you could come up with this stuff at the spur of the moment, but somehow, no. I have a very, very worrying suspicion this was based on a real story of a kid who blew his own brains out on a school day. Can I just how about this? Rest in peace, Trevor Wilson, the actor who played Jeremy. He died in 2016 after a drowning accident in Puerto Rico. He was 36. Jesus. That's tragic, obviously. I feel kind of a little bit saddened now, but because of after hearing that. But in the interest of fairness, we'll keep going anyway, despite what we've just experienced. So I mentioned before about the story whether it was about a kid who blew his own brains out, but I've actually just come across something that might actually, I've got something in my eye now. Jeremy is based on 2 different true stories. The song takes its main inspiration from a newspaper article about a 16-year-old boy named Jeremy Wade Deal from Richardson, Texas, who killed himself in front of his English classmates at Richardson High School on Tuesday morning of January the 8th, 1991 at about 9:45 a.m. In a 2009 interview, Vedder said that he felt the need to take that small article and make something of it, to give it that action, to give it reaction, to give it more importance. When asked about the song, Vedder explained, "It came from a small paragraph in a paper, which means you kill yourself and you make a big old sacrifice and try to get your revenge. That all you're going to end up with it is a paragraph in a newspaper." You know, I'm not even going to deny, I mean, I know this may not be the best place in the world to say this, but if I drop down dead tomorrow morning, I would want a little bit more than 1 paragraph to summarize my life. I would want a little bit. I think at heart a lot of people want more than just that, because if when the day comes when we have to leave this world, we should half expect to be remembered for who we were and for what we did, as though we were gods, just to give the impression that we were actually a little bit more important than anyone gave any credit for. 63 degrees and cloudy in a suburban neighborhood. That's the beginning of the video, and that's the same thing it is in the end. It does nothing. Nothing changes. The world goes on and you're gone. Again, as tragic as that might sound, that's not them being cruel for the sake of being cruel or showing reality for how it truly is, but it's kind of how it is. The best revenge is to live on and prove yourself, be stronger than those people, and then you can come back. The other story that the song is based on involved a student that Vader knew from his junior high school in San Diego, California. He elaborated further in a 1991 interview. "I actually knew somebody in junior high school in San Diego, California that did the exact same thing. Just about, don't take his life, but he ended up shooting up an oceanography room. I remember being in the halls and hearing it in the past. I was kind of a rebellious 5th grader, and I knew we got in fights and stuff. So it's a bit about this kid named Jeremy. It's also a bit about a kid named Brian that I knew and don't know. I don't know the song, but I think it says a lot. I think it goes somewhere, and a lot of people interpret it different ways. And it's just been recently that I've been talking about the true meaning behind it. And I hope no one's offended and believe me. I think of Jeremy when I sing it. I don't know why, ladies and gentlemen. I feel... Be stronger than those people, and then you can come back. I'm going to level with you now, ladies and gentlemen. I genuinely don't know. I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about living on and coming back, because you live until the day you die. That's fundamentally what life is. Well, if you want to put it in the most basic terms, and I know I've said this before, but I'm gonna have to grab my pillow again. I've said this a few times now, but I'm just gonna say it again and again, just so I can believe myself when I say it, because I know it's coming from my own mouth. The only reason we are still here on this earth is because we've not died yet. And they do say that no one dies without a purpose. So, was there a purpose in Jeremy Wade in what he did? Was it that he was his life was cruel at home? Was he being neglected? Was he being ignored? I mean, Daddy didn't give me attention. Oh, to the fact that Mommy didn't care. King Jeremy the Wicked, ruled his world. I don't know. I would love to know whether or not Eddie Vedder, he was really going through this. Well, that's... This was really what happened in Jeremy's youth. Clearly, I remember picking on the boy. Seemed a harmless little fuck. Oh, but we unleashed a lion. Gnashed his teeth and a bit this recess lady's breasts. How could I forget? And he hit me with a surprise left. My jaw left hurting. Ooh, dropped wide open, just like the day. Oh, like the day I heard. Daddy didn't give affection, no, and the boy was something that Mommy wouldn't wear. King Jeremy ruled this world. And this is just straight up almost nightmarish the way it ends. Jeremy spoke in class today. Try to forget this, try to erase this. Jeremy spoke, but almost no words came out. King Jeremy's reign, you could almost say, was toppled, not because of the world, but because of himself. Which you could possibly say is sort of what happened in the end for how Jeremy came to his end. Is that the truth came out not by God, but by King Jeremy himself. When you have the chance, and maybe it really was that Jeremy straight up had no answer for what was going on in his life, and just wanted to demonstrate to the world, to demonstrate to the people that he sort of knew, sort of a little bit better, that what what happened was the reason why he took this action out on himself was because if they didn't care before, then what makes them think they're going to care now? But maybe this was his own little personal revenge, that he's going to give them something to care about. But did Jeremy leave any notes saying that I hope you're pleased about what you've done, so here is your big reward? But now I'm starting to think of, in a very strange little way, is that if that wasn't true, then was it possible that just Jeremy... I don't think King Jeremy would have done it just to have entertained himself by releasing himself in this misery, because what does he... Well, because what does he know that's going on in the real world now? Does he even think people miss him? Does he think people care about him? I mean, we know that Eddie Vedder said in the interview that he cared and thought about Jeremy when this was being played. But kind of like what I said in the last video, I was talking about MCR. It might not mean that much when you hear of troubled kids. You know, it's just puberty and all that, and people are gonna like have this very strange reaction to the world now that they see things a little bit differently. But other than that, and that's just maybe stereotypical sort of look at it. But then there's the sad reality that kids suddenly realize, kids that are still kids, but are now realizing how cruel the world is. It's basically the age where the punches hurt a little bit more than before, because you begin to realize this is the world you're now slowly becoming of, now that you're becoming an adult. And some people just I don't want to say people can't handle it, because that seems like a very, very disconcerting way to talk about it. But why would people allow this to happen? Just neglecting your own children, your own flesh and blood, and then they become so outraged and so depressed that the only thing they can think to do is to kill themselves in front of a whole bunch of people. Like, what Jeremy's parents must have been nasty pieces of work if they were just going to sit back and watch their own child do this to themselves. God help, I'd rather my own kid shoot me than rather him shooting himself if I ever turned out to be a parent like that. And that's just a fact, and I reckon there would be a lot of people who would say the exact same thing. Like, some people are just not responsible to handle being an adult. Simple as that. Some people should never have kids. Unfortunately, there are millions of people who are parents who shouldn't be, because they're irresponsible. They have no idea how to take care of themselves, let alone others. But they decided that they were going to lay down and basically have unprotected sex, whether they wanted children or not. There it is. And just to let you guys know, just in case you think I'm being unfair, this goes exactly the same for people who think they are responsible, but in reality, they can't hack it. It's as simple as that. I know this has gone a little bit depressing over the last couple of minutes, but it has to be said, and I hope Jeremy is King Jeremy is living a happier life right now. Sometimes this world wasn't meant for people like Jeremy or Brian. Although in the case of Brian, maybe it was. You would have to wonder what drove him to doing what he did as well. So anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this reaction video. Please leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Let me know what you guys thought of Jeremy by Pearl Jam for yourselves. Please also make sure to also like and subscribe to get daily notifications when my videos come out. And I hope to see you guys again in the next reaction video. Take care. Bye-bye for now.